during the week. I just wanted to jump on here with Brandon today and get a recap, see how things are going, talk a little bit about his trading, talk a little bit about some of the feedback we're getting from market participants in light of our new offering. And Brandon's going to have a lot of insights to share. So, Brandon, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning. How are you doing, big man?
I'm good.
And hello to all the beautiful traders. Sorry, there's a jet if y'all can hear that. Definitely a beautiful Friday. So, Corey, I'll just jump right in for this because obviously I've been doing a lot of challenges for some people on Instagram because they're like, oh, yeah, you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And for this week, no, in the last 2 weeks, this is challenge number 5. I don't know if you guys can see that. I will be this actually passed last night at 3 a.m. So there might be a little bit of technical difficulties. It was at 109 or 109,000 for gold. But the whole thing with that is, if you guys watch my Instagram live, I talked about this. I mean, not my Instagram live, my stories. I was talking about it's not about how many positions you can throw in on the challenge. You know, whether you're doing the free, because these are auditions. But you can practice on the free accounts and stuff like that. But on the additions, what I've seen based off the SurgeTrader Discord is everybody's trying to just it's unbelievable. But they're taking 400 trades a day, which is absolute insanity. Like my brain can't even comprehend that you can, for one, trade that many setups, but two, be in the charts that much to where you can identify that many trades. That's crazy.
Right. Well, not only that, I mean, there's guys who are taking far fewer than that with way too much size also. So it's kind of both ends of the spectrum of bad habits. And these are things that lead to account breaches. So share with us a little bit about how you did it. So you're not taking a ton of trades. You're not taking a ton of volume. What are you doing to get over these auditions?
So if everyone has been paying attention to our previous lives, you guys know that I only do 40 pip stops. So I'm only risking, realistically, maybe for my losses, $400 to $600, and then for a $10,000 gain. That's a pretty significant risk to reward ratio. And so for me, I just wait for the high probability trades. I wait for my zones to break. You know, if I'm buying or selling, obviously I love gold, so I can pretty much take an educated guess on how I feel the market's going, especially when gold's been, on this bullish trend. So I waited for these setups. And let me show you. I'm going to try to see. Hopefully, Corey, I honestly doubt they'll be able to see this, but
we can pull it up on the big screen also.
Well, yeah. What I need to do is get my account on this so I can share the screen and then show my actual trades and stuff on it. That would be neat. But
awesome. But yeah, you said something interesting. So are you taking just one trade to pass the audition?
1 to 2 trades max. Now,
got it.
This morning.
And what's the time frame? How long did it take you to pass?
Around 48 hours.
Okay.
Now, obviously, I know a lot of people listening they're going to say that's not realistic. But in reality, it is. I've done this 5 times now, and that's what I want to prove is if you can be patient and wait for a high probability setup and not just saying, boom, I got my challenge, I'm ready to trade. Let me just, and not have any type of trading plan, no risk management, nothing. You're just going into the game thinking, I'm about to get rich quick. Lambos tomorrow. Let's get it. And then the same thing happens. And Corey, you can probably testify a lot for this because you do handle a lot of those calls. What would you say would be the biggest reason for the breaches? Like on average, if you could scale in, what would be the biggest reason for the breaches? Yeah.
Well, it's a combination of things. Just like you said, it would be a bad combination of strategy. They don't have a winning strategy. And 2, they're not risk managing, and then the psychology gets the best of them. So, they're taking either too big of a position, or like you said, they're over trading, they're using too much leverage because they want, unfortunately, you've been doing this a long time, right? You say 48 hours, and somebody who's new says, oh man, Brandon can do it in 48 hours, I can do it in 48 hours. Yep. And so, but that time frame is probably a little bit short for most traders, right?
Absolutely.
So most people don't have the skill set that you have, and I know you're here trying to help them develop it. But in a realistic setting, people are going to take a little longer than that. So I'd say the unrealistic expectations, trading too large, too much leverage, too much margin, and no risk management. So they get into that hopium where they're hoping it'll turn around, and they breached their accounts out. So share with me a little bit of how you overcame. I'm sure you had those bad habits at some point. How did you overcome
Absolutely.
those?
So that goes into mindset, because there are some days where I go back and I'll do the exact same thing. And it's just, we're human beings, we have this weird thing that we like to do things the wrong way a lot of the time. So even though I know what works, the greed always steps in, because it's like, oh, you know what, I want to get this, or I'm focused on that. Let me just go ahead and rush the process and see if it works. And it fails every time. Like the beauty of it is, no matter whatever it is, whether it's trading or anything, if you try to rush the process, you always you're taking 2 steps back. And so for me, I just got to remind myself, like, hey, we've been down that road. We know what's about to happen. Like, if you don't put your feelings at bay, you know what's about to happen. And even me, 8 years now trading, I still fall down that slippery slope where it's like, let the greed kick in, like, hey, this setup looks great, let me jump in it. And then boom, I get slapped in the face. And I'm like, for me, I almost appreciate it now, because it reminds me that, hey, you know what works. Why did you go against your plan? Like, why did you go against your strategy? You knew where you wanted to enter, but you were just impatient, so it's like you said, it's just a combination of different factors of, like, if I can be patient, just a little more patient, if I can not consider trying to make 10,000 in one trade. And so let me explain why for me, I wanted to show, because there's a lot of people that were in my Discord and they're like, oh, well, that's impossible. Nobody can do this. And so I want to show what is possible, obviously. And like you said, it's not realistic, but there are certain, I'll say, scenarios where if you can be patient enough. Now, obviously, nobody knows which way the market's going to go. But if you can be patient enough, like I have my setup where if I'm at my level right here, I love my break, hook, and goes. It is the most simplistic strategy. You just wait for the area to break, you wait for price to retest, and then you look for that one candle that gives you that clear indication that the trend is following. It's literally.
Describe to me in regular candle terms, what is that candle you're looking for? So a new trader, he's familiar with candle shapes, he's familiar with volume patterns. When you say you break and retest and then it goes, are you looking for a specific candle shape, speed, momentum? What are you looking for there?
I mean, that can really be determined on the time frame of what I'm looking at. For me, when I'm trading, I don't really look at the 5 minute and the 1 minute time frame. But if you go down to that area and you're waiting, especially price is already broke on we could go to the charts and I could probably show this, but if price breaks that area and then it's just playing around, you got these really small, like doji candles where you got like wicks on both ends of the small body. And then that one, if we're going on a bullish, if we're looking for buys, I'm looking for that one bullish candle that basically overtakes all the previous, if if price was moving sideways, or you're going to have where price will break completely off that level. And it might be 10 or 15 pips. Go ahead.
You've told me this before. So you're looking for that consolidation or that indecision, and then that new buyers to step in or new sellers to step in and take all that indecision out.
Exactly. And you can tell most of the time, I'll say 7 out of 10 times, you can see where that one candle, it completely just overtook all the previous candles. And that could be, and for me, I like to say, there's 3 different risk levels of jumping into that buy. One, as soon as I see the candle go below the level and it's kind of like knocking out all the lows of the sideways candles, that would be the riskiest entry, because you don't know, price could respect that area and it continue as resistance and retrace back down. Or that could be the absolute, what people like to call the sniper entry. And
right.
You got it at the very pip and then price retrace on. So you got the riskiest, and then you got at the level of support or resistance, where I would say is, like the moderate. And then the lowest risk is once price has broke through all those previous candles, basically like the neckline, then that would be your third entry.
Got it.
So just
scaling in. Typically, which one are you going to take, or is it situation dependent?
For me, I'm not going to say I like to take risks, but I love taking risks. So obviously, and for me, I'm a swing trader. So like yesterday, I got in gold at, let me just check my phone real quick. I got in gold at 1952 and then 1951 and then rode it all the way to 1984. So it's close to a 300 pip swing. And again, for me, I'm looking for the absolute highest reward. So if I can, if I know price is at this level, you know, of support and resistance, and it's moving sideways, and you've got a 10 to 15 pip variation, I'm more than willing to enter anywhere in that line, because I'm not focused on getting that perfect entry, because when you're going for a 300 pip trade, it doesn't 10 pips doesn't matter to me.
Right, exactly.
And then
so if you're not so concerned with over risking on a sniper entry because you're looking for so much upside.
Exactly. And because I don't like, so let's say on a 100K account, and you realistically have like maybe 6,000 to play with on a $100,000 account. I'm not throwing a 10 lot in there to where, you know, 10 pips goes and I breach the account. That's where almost 90% of traders fail right there, is because they think because I say that you can pass it in less than 48 hours, that the way I pass it is by over leveraging, you know, and that's not the case.
You're doing the entire opposite.
The entire opposite. Yeah. Like, you're looking for a high probability trade to where if gold moves 300 pips on a one lot, you just made 7% on one trade, risking 40 pip stops. So you would have realistically lost, again, $400 to $600 to a 8,000 pip or $8,000 gain. A lot of people, that don't math right to them, because they're like, oh, that's impossible. Price moves on every single pair every single day, you know, Sunday through Friday. It is possible. It's just people don't have the patience. You know, they're just
right. The patience. Wait, let me ask you this: where did you develop that patience from? Was that just confidence in your strategy, confidence in your setups? How did that come? Were you always that patient?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would say, obviously, my first biggest loss was over $500,000. That was pretty detrimental to me. That's always my fallback to not necessarily remind me, but I know what happens when you rush trade, because my whole trading career was built on scalping and, you know, intraday trading. I obsessed with scalping. It was an insanity to me, you know, where you could, in 15 minutes, I could make half my month's salary, you know, just pressing buttons on my phone. So that would, in that case, the patience game is gone. Like, if you enjoy scalping, you have no patience, because you're in and out, you're frantic. You know, I listen to these people and they're like, oh, I'm extremely patient. When I scalp, I'm like, well, yep, there it is. You can't, they don't go together. Scalping,
right, of course.
You know, it don't go together. So developing I would say, not realistically on how I created my strategy, but for me, everything for patience developed based off learning my stops. I used to always try to identify, okay, if price goes, you know, what's the capabilities? What's the what ifs? You know, that used to be me, super into not really the risk management, but the risk factor. Like, what could happen? What's the worst that could happen? So finding out what pip range would be perfect for a stop loss and what I'm willing to lose, I think that's what really developed my patience, because I would wait and I'd say, okay, I'm not gonna get into my entry unless price gets to this level, and then it get to that level, and I'd see it was like a massive. If I'm looking for buys, price continued in a pretty strong bearish momentum. I was like, all right, let me wait a little bit more. Let me wait a little bit more. And in doing that, trying to identify my stops, I started recognizing patterns on how price moves, to where you can scale in on those high probability trades. So if I was looking for a buy, and this is where I didn't develop this, it's just where, you know, recognizing patterns, the break, hook, and go. I was waiting on that price, you know, on that area of support, just being patient, waiting, and trying to recognize again where I'd put my stops. And I started realizing on multiple moves, the way price goes is, again, that clear indication candle. You know, it's that one candle rips down. Everyone thinks it's a sell, wipes out all the previous candles, and then boom, skyrockets. So all that in a nutshell, yeah, that my risk management, all that was developed based off identifying my stops and the patient window.
And give me a rule of thumb what your stops are going to be. They're going to be the previous day lows, weekly. I know you mark your charts up in a very specific way.
Yeah.
Or they're just going to be a point of interest. It could be a weekly low, monthly low, daily low. Just depends on where it is in that cycle.
So depending on the trade, like depending on the time of day, if I'm swing trading, I don't care realistically if it's the previous low or not. I normally gauge it off of 40 pips. So we can probably go through and look at my previous entries. And when you put the 40 pip stops, however it works, I don't know, it's always close to that previous, right below that previous low, because I'm sure you've seen this before, Corey. A lot of people's stops, price will go right to their stop point.
Sure.
And then, and for me, developing why, it is not necessarily a huge significance, but for 40 pips, that gives to me price enough area to flow, because obviously the price just up and down, but it gives it the ability for price to flow. And I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, but I can't handle drawdown. Then don't trade.
Yeah, it's a tough game. If you can't handle drawdown, you shouldn't be trading. Absolutely.
I was about to say, because if you want to develop patience, you have to knock out a lot of the previous knowledge instilled that people have learned, off YouTube and stuff like that. And that's about, I'm looking for the absolute perfect entry. Because you think banks care about perfect entries. You think, the market makers, they don't care about none of that. They say, we're going to move the market from X to Y to Z, and they jump in, they dump in, and that's how it works. So if you want to develop a sustainable strategy, you need to quit focusing on, I got it, because you're going to have anxiety like crazy if you're looking for that absolute sniper entry, because unless you have all day to be sitting on your phone, which none of us do, you find your entry, you got your plan, support area, resistance area for my zones. And I put my stop. I know where I'm willing to hold this trade, and it's done. I set the trade, boom. Like yesterday, I took the trades on gold, and then I went and had dinner. We went to the beach. I went and done my stories, all that stuff. I didn't check my trades not one time. So if you're capable of having the patience for that, obviously the patience is key for a sustainable trading career.
But let me ask you this. Say, there are a lot of people who want to start as scalpers because they think it's super quick, not a lot of long-term, holding. Yeah, it's exciting. What advice would you have for them kind of transitioning over to more of a swing trading mindset?
So I don't hate the idea of somebody starting into trading scalping, because that was me, but it's going to teach you all the wrong things to do before you go the right route, which is swing trading. And a lot of people would disagree with that because they're like, oh, well, I don't have the ability to do. If you want, the most sustainable way to be a profitable trader is swing trading, because it just is. Price moves zones to zones. That's just how it works. So my advice for anybody starting out to scalp, I would say, why not learn how to trade the right way first? And then once you have the direct, you got the direction, you got the right flow, then you can play around. You know what works. But if you're wanting to gamble, you can always, come to the side and do your scalp and all that stuff. But
right.
Realistically, I just don't think it's a smart way to get into trading. Obviously, it's the most exciting because you got social media influencers saying, oh, I made 40 grand in 10 seconds. It's possible. Anything's possible with trading. But I'd much rather have a 5-year sustainable plan than a one trade success and then lose it all. And that's
Sure.
The mindset, that people, they're not willing to shift that mindset, because it's like you have all this fugazi of, I can be a millionaire overnight. I'm going to get this prop firm, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I've got $1 million surge account, and I'm just going to make 100 million overnight. And so that, it's not realistic.
Right. Yeah. Great insight. Too many people, fall for that trap. And I think, over time, they kind of shift gears and they see what's really possible, and they start accepting the truth about it. It'd be nice for, traders to go somewhere and be able to kind of pick that up early on, A lot of love lost that doesn't need to happen.
And that's what we're here for. Like,
absolutely.
If you're watching this, and you come to the Discord, You can message me anytime, day or night. This is why I'm here, to help you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for being such a great resource. So, Brandon, you want to pull up some charts and give us a quick little primer, rundown? I know you do this all during the week, but this is a partial new audience here. We'd love to see what you've got going on.
Yeah, let's do this. Let me share. I'm going to go over what I was literally my mouse is going a little wonky. There we go. All right. So first of all, and I apologize, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse not wanting to work out. That's all right. I'm going to go to the daily, scale this price down. I'm going to show you guys what okay. If my mouse will work, I don't know. It's just not wanting to work. Sue, is there another mouse over there anywhere? I apologize, guys. Yeah.
Always some of the technical difficulties. We'll get there.
It's always that. It's all right. Hey, this develops patience right here.
This is patience lesson number 1.
Yes, sir. All right. Give me a second. It's still doing it. Guys, I completely apologize. Here, let me see if I can do this. It's just not wanting to work.
How about your trackpad on the Mac?
Right over here. Let's try this. It's Friday, guys. Y'all got nowhere to go. Just be patient with us. The trackpad's almost impossible on this one. All right. Corey, just work with me for a minute.
Yeah, no, take your time. Take your time.
I'm sure. Well, realistically, we're on the daily, and you can see where my entry was from here in 1820. We went over this on Thursday, and I know it's absolutely horrible. You guys can't see this, but there we go. Thank you so much. I love you, Sue. There we go. I completely apologize about that, guys. But boom.
That's quite a trade.
Oh my gosh. This is why I absolutely love gold, not only because obviously we live in the United States, so we can kind of gauge what the US dollar is doing, but I believe it was last Tuesday, I put this trend line and I explained, and price was, wherever it was. And I said, we're going to reach new highs, and gold is going to continue all the way up. Nobody believes this, but we're going to knock out all these highs, obviously. And let me just give a little insight for the fundamental side of this. US dollar is at an all-time high. US debt, all-time high. Gold has been pushing for a new all-time high. You also have foreclosures, bankruptcies, credit card debt. Everything is at an all-time high. So what that means is it's an easily identifiable range of manipulation. Like, we're being manipulated through the government. We're being manipulated through all this stuff. So the fundamental side for gold is a lot easier to read for me personally than even like the US dollar versus Japanese yen, because when the world is in chaos, gold is going to go on a frenzy. And as you can see, everyone thought gold was just going to absolute dump. And now you see these candles right here. I hope you guys can see this. These massive bullish momentum. Boom, just blasting through. This isn't even 10% of the move.
These are the candles you were talking about earlier. Where it came down.
Yes.
These are big time momentum, strong candles.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you see, all right, on the bearish momentum, you see all these little tiny bearish candles, prices just playing the ladder, falling down, trickling almost like, just a little waterfall on the rocks. It's just flowing nice and easy. But then when the bulls come in, there's no way to misinterpret this. It just blasts up through every single level. That shows me, looking back, that there is so much strength and bulls just waiting, all this pending orders for these buys to come in. It's just, you got the fundamentals of, it might be different barters and trades throughout the world, whatever's going on that kind of keeps gold's price at bay, but let me just explain this to everyone here. Gold is the one thing that you can take anywhere in the world and it's the same value. You take the US dollar and you go to Mexico, it's going to be worth this, and then you go to Spain, it's going to be worth this, and then, so, and that's with any currency. You got highs and lows anywhere for the value. Gold, it is the same value everywhere. It is the absolute standard. Used to be, that backed the US dollar. Now I don't think anything backs the US dollar. But again, that's why when you see everything like the chaos, that the wars and everything that's going on right now, gold is just, she's churning and burning. She's fixing to absolutely blast off. So I knew I've been waiting on these buys, and for this, like what got me into this trade a few weeks ago, as you can see, and we're on the higher time frame. This is the daily, but you can see. Let me zoom into this. All these bearish candles, no sideways movement, prices, and then boom, price hits the floor. We'll just put this right here. Price hits this floor at 1820. I even went over this on the live. We were zoomed in. This is 1820. Now let me go to the higher time frame. All right, price. I hate this little tool right here because I never can do it good. Let's see. Let me try it again. There we go. Okay, right there. Right here. This is on the monthly. If you have a certain price on the monthly, it's pretty important. Now I'm just very quickly identifying how many times this price was touched. Obviously, I could almost just put this and just say, yeah, prices touch this area all the way back 2021. We can scale down, and I'm pretty sure it goes even further than that. Yeah,
sure,
all the way to 2011. So whatever that price is at 1820 or around that area, 1820 to 1824, something either catastrophic or of high relevance, high importance at this price. So I knew without a shadow of doubt, price is going to touch that area and bounce off. It wasn't going to play. It wasn't going to try to trap buyers, nothing like that. Now let's scale back down. And look how 9 times out of 10, when you see price, sorry, I'm trying to get a clear window here. When you see price doing this right here, I like to call this like the little bearish ladder or the bullish ladder. You see how these candles are just sitting here playing around, Corey? You got just a nice small flow, but consistent. It's just bink, 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 bink. And then price moves sideways. That immediately tells me, again, whether if we're buying or selling, that a massive shift of momentum's coming.
So the bears are exhausted there. Now we have some indecision, and we just ride sideways for a while.
That's right. So, looking into, like, if you want to dive deep into the market, whatever the algorithms are doing, the fundamentals are building the case and building the evidence for the story to proceed. So you have price moving sideways. You got complete indecision. You don't know. Buyers are getting trapped out. Sellers are getting trapped out. So you've got all of this area. And let's see. You got, here's Tuesday. Remember, so that was Tuesday, 3rd of October. This is when we were talking about this. And then Thursday, I went back over it and I said, hey, we're looking for that clear indication. I seen price break through this level 9 times out of 10. When you have a massive shift of momentum, price is going to do what is my favorite strategy: break, hook, and go. Price comes down, breaks, hooks, and just blasts off. So easily identifiable candle is that one candle that knocks all the sideways movement out. And here she is.
There she is.
And
yep.
You're talking 1815 to 1828. So yeah, you've got a massive range. Now, if I scale down, you can see where these a little bit clearer story. This is the patience game right here. Now, yes, if you're a scalper or intraday trader, and I even went over some intraday trades for people to make some money. you can make money on the sideways movement, but it's extremely risky. It's like the heart line. You know, you got the heart monitor, just beep, 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 back and forth, back and forth. It's very hard to identify the flow of that. It's not hard to identify. You've got all these candles, all this indecision, all these wicks and bodies and craziness, and then look at this run right here. Just 3 clear indication candles telling you all that momentum is taking off. So
nice, beautiful trade.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still in this. Like, okay, so, and I know we've been about 30 minutes in this. Let me just go over this real quick, Corey.
Yeah, please share with us.
So we broke the high, we broke our trend line, and then again, simple strategy. I know you guys like to tell like the divergence here and Fibonacci 61.8 and the stars aligned and I was, whatever. Look how simple this is. Price breaks, play sideways, and then we have even the cleanest part. Price broke out, retested, and boom. That was my entry. I showed that on my Instagram live. I was literally had the live with you guys or whoever joined on my Instagram. We talked about this. 5 minutes after I talked about it, price jumped over 100 pips. So that simple strategy is you can master that with patience, just waiting. Because once it breaks, hooks, 9 times out of 10, it's about to just completely skyrocket. And look where we're at. Price is at 1994. Good Lord. Even with us talking right here.
What's your exit here? What's the exit plan?
So for me right now, I am, obviously trying to not necessarily challenge myself, but just prove to everybody inside Surge's Discord, my Discord, and my Instagram the possibilities. Passing this will be the 5th challenge. So realistically, there's no exit goal. I feel in my heart that gold is going to be reaching completely new highs. So this is where the hold game comes in. Even on a 0.1 lot, you're talking 1907 to 2052. You just made probably 20 grand off a 0.03 risk of your account. So yeah, that's the beauty of swing trading.
Quite an R there. Nice risk reward ratio.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And so Corey, and I'll say this, and then we can end it off. But everyone, the biggest challenge I see people having is they're like, "Oh, I can never hold that long." And let me say this. You don't want to hold to make more money, but you'll hold a trade going completely 100 pips against you, praying that it turns in the other way.
Absolutely. That's everybody's insanity, time, right? Yeah.
yeah.
So what is your theory on locking in some profits here? I know you've got 300 pips. Do you move your stops up? Or are you just going to let it ride?
So it's just what your daily goal is, everyone's mindset and goal is going to be different. For me, obviously mine is to pass the challenge and stuff like that. But if I was trading this on an account and I had 100 grand, 200 grand, whatever it is, and I normally on my swing trades, I scale in at least 3 positions.
Okay.
So at this point in time, we're up 300 or no, we're up, I don't know, what is that, 900 something pips, whatever it is. I don't know. Obviously I'm going to either close 2 of those positions, or if I'm at, let's just say one lot, I close it in half. So I've closed over 400% of the trade realistically, because we're doing a 40 pip stop to a 1,000 pip game. And then my rest is just running. Let price flow, because you learn a lot about yourself when you hold a trade like 10 times past what you thought you could. You start realizing how price flows, and you just condition yourself. It's like boxing or anything like that. You're not going to be able to hold your trade more than 30, 40 pips when you're just getting into it. You just can't. It's you haven't
psychologically, you just can't handle it. Right.
Exactly. So you just got to, the best way to practice this is just take a trade with like whatever it is, a 0.02%. Literally you're risking 10 cents on your account, and just try to practice it. See how price goes. Oh my Lord. See how price goes and just test it out. You're risking 20 cents. So it's not like it's going to hurt anything. You're not going to blow anything, but you're just you're just learning. You're scarring yourself, getting that consistency for what you want to do towards the future.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it all comes down to practice, getting comfortable, getting the psychology right. And you seem to have mastered that. So congratulations to you, sir.
Absolutely. I appreciate that,
Awesome.
brother.
Well, Brendan, thanks so much for joining me today. Again, awesome trade. I look forward to seeing your lives next week to see where we end up, or if you're still
Yes,
holding.
sir.
And have a wonderful weekend.
Absolutely. Hope y'all have a wonderful weekend as well, and thank y'all for having me.